What's up, guys and girls? Chris King back with you to do yet again another album review for Louisville Pod. Okay, so this is only like my second album review, but who's counting? Let's move on. Ukelele Songs by Eddie Vedder. Now, in case you don't know, or in case you've been living under a rock for the last 20 years like that Geico guy, you know Eddie Vedder is the lead singer and frontman for the Seattle grunge band Pearl Jam. Pearl Jam has progressed over the years that they've been a band. Started out as that gritty grunge garage rock band and morphed into just like this kind of like all-American just rock and roll band, making music that everybody can enjoy, or everybody should enjoy at least. And we all know there's many sides to Eddie Vedder. You know, you got the crazy, like I'm angry, jump from the rafters into the crowd, Eddie Vedder, and then you got the soft side of Eddie Vedder, which is the side we're going to focus on today. Vedder started doing his own solo material back when they asked him to do the Into the Wild soundtrack, which I really enjoyed. It's a very stripped-down album of acoustic songs for this soundtrack. Now, years later, he's just released another solo album called Ukelele Songs, all done on the ukulele. This album was hard for me to wrap my head around just because it was very soft and very airy, and that's just not what I'm used to from Eddie Vedder or Pearl Jam. And just for the record, Pearl Jam is my favorite band of all time, so it was tough for me to wrap my head around this. I really enjoyed the Into the Wild soundtrack, but this was a lot softer and there's a lot more love songs involved, and the love songs cover both the happy times of love and the tragic times of love. But the thing going on in this album is there's a lot of songs that sound the same. You know, and I can imagine how tough it can be writing an album's worth of songs on an instrument that's this big. Well, I mean, the instrument itself isn't really this big. It's actually like this big. But for the camera and the view of the screen here, you got to kind of got to give Vedder credit for doing what he did on such a small instrument with such limitations. His chord progressions, just the melodies he created on some of these songs were really well done, really well composed. But a big portion of the album sounds similar to me. Now, granted, because of the reasons I just gave of the limitations on the ukulele, that's sort of expected. I don't really know where to draw the line as far as what his limitations were on the instrument and how good the songs were. There's a handful of songs that I love. There's a handful of songs that I don't, and everything else is just kind of whatever. It all just kind of blends in together. The record starts off with the song Can't Keep, which is a Pearl Jam song off the album Riot Act, which probably my favorite song in here just because it's a familiar song. I know it. He did a really good job. He uses interesting walks and melodies on a lot of these songs. For instance, on Satellite, it's just got a really cool vibe to it. It's a walking melody, which I really enjoy. You almost don't even hear the words. It's almost just like an entire package. Your First is probably my favorite song on the album, which is not a former Pearl Jam song like Can't Keep. This one was very, you really heard Eddie's Pete Townsend influence come out. It's very Townsend inspired with the quick strums, and it's aggressive. It has a really good melody, and Vedder really opens up his voice and just lets it go on this song. Probably the best track, track number 10, Your First, my personal favorite on the album. The handful that I didn't like, Without You, it's another love song, but it's pretty cheesy and predictable. The song Longing to Belong, the cello's cool. He puts cello in there, which I really like, but on this song, it's just more sappy love songs, and I just can't get into it, you know? One of the best tracks on the album, which I forgot, so going back to the tracks that I do like, it's about an 8-second track where Vedder's starting out a song, but he messes up, and he just says, fucka, fucka. You should really just listen to it to understand the concept.
You fucka, fucka.
Finally, just breaking down the album as a whole, I don't hate the album, but I don't love it either. It's a nice little album with some nice songs, some nice tunes, and in the right moment, this album is going to really work for somebody. It's similar to listening to a Jack Johnson album, where you just want to put in something that's light and it's going to be there in the background. You know, you're not putting on this record to really feel some emotion, like really get amped up by it. You know, it's just going to be background noise. It's just there as like some light accompaniment to a nice drive, or just, you know, the coolest thing to me about this is the album art. The little statue guy right here sitting under the water at a typewriter. I don't know what I like about it. It's cool. It's simple. It's got the aqua theme, which Eddie Vedder is in love with the ocean. So, it, you know, in the end, in scoring this album, I got to give it a 5 out of 10, about a C. It's not exactly what I expected. Once again, I really dug the melodies and what Eddie was able to do. You know, once again, on the small neck of a 4-string instrument, he was really mastered this instrument. But as far as putting together everything, the lyrics with the instrumentation, it just didn't come together for me. I'd buy the album just because, for me, it's Eddie Vedder, and there is good content on the album. But there's so many songs that I think the mediocre ones and the ones that I don't really care for, the sappy love songs, kind of bring it down a notch for me. Maybe if this album was only 8 to 10 songs long, it might be a little bit better, just because there's not so much content dragging down, you know, the high ends of the album. That's it. Thanks for watching. For the next album review I'm going to try to do is going to be the Sheepdogs, Learn and Burn, so make sure to keep your eye out for that, and more album reviews and more content on Louisville Pod. So thanks for watching, and until next time, see you on the flip side. Take care of each other. Peace.